designing Shilpa Shetty Kundra's holiday home.
Raj and Shilpa both were extremely open about what they want, why they want. They said farm तो हमारा 5,000 square feet का होगा, छोटा सा होगा, cute होगा. Now it is a 29,000 square feet weekend home. Shilpa only cribbed about कि अब भी घर छोटा पड़ रहा है और 2 bedroom दे दे मेरे को. But अब वो Raj is like अब बहुत हो गया है. इससे बड़ा घर हमारा maintain नहीं. We realized that we are rejecting 15 to 20 projects a week.
15 to 20 projects a week.
If you take up 80% of our clients today, we have known them or their friends for the last 2 days. So there has to be mutual trust, number one. 30,000 square feet bungalow, where everybody believes कि 4-5 साल तो बंगला बनाने में लगता है. That also complete bungalows in about 15 months from foundation stage, including interiors. So recently we completed a hotel in Bhutan where we had one visit. I went there, spent 3 days, understood the owners, did a pre-concept. They loved it. They never called us back.
What's the one thing young designers should stop doing right?
Any benchmarks in the industry. They should just keep doing what they feel is correct. Now we have got a 2030 goal where we want to do projects in at least 18 countries. We take a very clear stand that till the time all area good for construction drawings are not completed, we will not allow the site work to start. Because every
Design Circus, the name, is pretty unique. So what's in the name? What's the story? I'm sure there is one.
This is long back, I think about 2013-14. We had a firm which is about 40 years old then, pretty structured, fantastic place to work, but got bounded by certain limitations of the type of projects and the clients we can get. And we couldn't break that mold. I had almost reached the ceiling of what I could do in that firm. And I get perpetually bored every 2 years. So every time I used to go to Mr. Miller and tell him that, I want to leave the firm and do something or whatever. And he used to offer me something fantastic and I used to stay back. And that kind of lasted for 20 years. But I think by 2013-14, we realized I was looking for something more, maybe in this profession or beyond. And then the idea came up to either start a firm which can become a platform for some fantastic designers to come together and create a palette of design assignments or work which are unique, each of them. So it should not become either repetitive and it should not also become a boundary to do a particular thing. So we wanted to do a coaster also, we wanted to do an airport also. So we still keep telling our client, there's nothing to scale. We can do a pan ka dukan, but then pan ka dukan should be spoken about, and then it should be designed very differently and should belong there. Second, we were very sure that in India, I think a lot of creative professions, beyond the principal designer or the architect, for the firm to grow and imagine for the next 150 years is not easy. So we wanted something which can last beyond us and should not have our name then. And hence, after a couple of thought, Design Circus kind of just kept coming back to us. And we felt this is fun. In fact, many people who are very, very close to us, well-wishers, they completely discouraged us to use this name because we were coming out of a very structured environment. They thought this is not going to work in India. People are going to look at it as in a very different manner. But I think that's the whole idea. We wanted to always tell stories around the world and not limit ourselves anyway. And I think for us, so we both, I think, from 2014, I registered my website. And then we started the firm in 2018.
So we've often heard you say design is storytelling and not just decoration. What does that mean for you as a firm, as an individual?
When you get typecasted, what happens to a project? A project either gets identified by the principal designer whose style is identified, not only in India, but globally. So let's say Zaha Hadid, Norman Foster, Richard Rogers, Renzo Piano, they all get defined by what they do. Imagine Norman Foster doing a Zaha Hadid or vice versa. It doesn't work.
Correct.
We just felt that, at least in our sense, we never wanted to do something similar again and again and again. I'm not saying that practice is bad, but this is something what we felt we will get bored. So to keep that going, the only way, without one person dictating what design should be within the office setup or a studio, you had to have a narrative. So we, on a design platform, whether it's a junior designer participating on the entire design workshop, there are 3 questions what we ask every time when we are presenting to each other in the office. Why, where, and whom. If we are able to answer these 3 questions, then the design process starts. So why are we doing it? So it's not like आज मैंने leather panel देखा, अभी next project में leather panel डालेंगे. Or today I like a red color, then I'll put a red color today. Doesn't happen with us. So we need to answer the why. We need to answer where. So whether I am in Bombay, Kochi, Sri Lanka, Japan, where I am, and whom are we building? Whether it's a hotel or whether it's a residence or whether it's anything else. Now, collectively, these 3 questions becomes a narrative. Narratives are factual. So if there are 20 people sitting in a room, and if I present 3 pre-concept stories, which we generally do 3 pre-concept stories for every project when we pitch, all 3 are factual stories. So these are factual narratives based on why, where, whom. So if we are doing let's say we did a Vivanta in Kochi, we can't tell a story of Bhopal there, right? Or we can't tell a story of Gurgaon there. So it has to be still about Kochi. It is still about Vivanta. It is still about why are we doing certain things. Who is our customer? Who is our guest? Who's going to see it? So we want to explore that first. And then those 3 stories has to be built around those why, where, whom, yeah. And that's why storytelling is extremely important for us. We were doing a farm in Bhopal where the farm was 20 minutes drive from the main city bungalow. Rarely we come across something like this, which is so close.
Yeah, just 20 minutes.
20 minutes, correct. Now to consistently go to the farm needs a very strong emotional reason. So we wanted to do something where everything you touch, feel has to be natural. If it is hot, cold, stone, it can't be tiles, etc. So the story went around 5 senses and the narrative was there. The entire farm was getting completed as per that design. And in the end, there were 2 additional guest bedrooms which were supposed to be added. We approved a ceramic wash basin instead of a stone wash basin. And the owners called me and they said, we believe you approved a ceramic wash basin. And we said, yeah, because we just need it delivered by next week. And there's nothing stone basin which is available in the market and can't be made within 45 days now. They said, this doesn't follow what you told us. So they made an effort to get those stone wash basin made, sent somebody to Makarana, got it made in 5 days. The stone wash basin came. So also the storytelling beyond pre-concept allows the owner to become a collaborative part of the design process. It is not for me or my team or the client to change anything if it doesn't belong to the story. Similarly, for the Jamshedpur Radisson, which we did for Prakash Jha, the story was about Subarnarekha River, which is flowing through Jamshedpur. And Kali Mitti is the concept for the iron ore sand. And Prakash Jha's partner, who was extremely curious and participating in design equally as Prakash Jha, he said, I love yellow color. And that meeting, Prakash Jha said, but there is no yellow in Subarnarekha. That was our win. Then we are married to that. And then we get in. So I think it's good for us also because we are being checked every time that you're doing the right thing. And if you make a mistake, then even we are getting corrected. So it's not like, nahi, main designer hu, main bolunga ye lagega to ye lagega. No, it can't happen that way. Now we are all married to that story. So I think that works very well for us.
Yeah, it acts as a good starting point. And at the same time, while the journey is ongoing, you know that this is the path that you have to take. And ultimately, while you're about to get there, you know, not exactly, but at least how the entire narrative will come to place.
Yeah.
So that's a fantastic ability. But now, also, at any given point of time, I believe you guys do more than 40 projects. I mean, you delivered one, you're taking 2 more. The rate at which you are doing such things to come up with concepts.
Very stressful.
Yeah, I mean, how do you manage that?
We don't manage that. It just happens. I think it's a very meditative state. So we don't. If anybody in the office doesn't love it, I think they can't work around us. You have to genuinely love and believe in the process of storytelling. And we tell this here. Apart from storytelling, it's not about referencing on Pinterest. For us, if we are finding images from Pinterest, they are based on the storytelling which we have already done verbally. So I need to imagine that image to find the image. And I keep giving this example. If I'm looking for a grey check shirt, then I'll go to a shop, I'll find a grey check shirt, I'll buy it, go to the counter, pay for it and get out. But if I go to the store and I don't know what I want, then I will buy 3 things which I will not probably wear again.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know. So the clarity before you shop, and in our case, shopping means either referencing to express the language of design or the concept. It's very important to first have that. Otherwise, I think it just doesn't work. I think it's very scary when somebody asks us how many projects you're working on, and we need to tell them that we're working on 60 projects or 65 projects right now. But we are not actually working on them. We are working on 6 projects at a time. We design them, we detail them, we do working drawing of them. And for us, that project is design-wise over. We don't project manage. We don't do design PMC. We go to our sites probably once in 3 months with our bungalows.
Wow.
Now something which you guys are participating at a bungalow in Guwahati, that's a 30,000 square feet bungalow. The foundation started in November. In December, we knew the wall covering which is going to be there on the 2nd floor. And for us, the design is closed. I went there in November to check the line out. I went there in March when the bungalow was up. That's my 2nd visit. I went there in June to check the marking for the ID work. And now I'm going to go in September to see the general progress of work. And then probably December when the house is getting handed over. That also allows the owners to complete bungalows in about 15 months from foundation stage, including interiors, which was unheard of in India, where everybody believes कि 4-5 साल तो बंगला बनाने में लगता है, because there is the clarity in which the designers or architects express themselves to the client is not enough. So we do full-scale mocks. We insist on certain processes which allows the client to be aligned to us. And beyond that, nobody, including us, is allowed to change anything, even if we learn something new in the process. But that's for next project. So at a time, we are not doing so many projects. There are WhatsApp groups. Yes, there are more than probably 300 WhatsApp group right now. Each project will have 5 WhatsApp group. There are 60-65 projects running right now in the country and beyond. But we are not designing those projects currently. We're designing only 6 of them today.
If I have to put that in words, the designing process is the most critical aspect, and then it is delegation. And here, when you're talking about these massive projects you do, massive hotels, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 square feet, and then pulling that off in 15 months. So that has to have some kind of a process which you've built over the years, because getting projects done at that scale, at that pace is bonkers. And for the first time when I got to know about you and your vision about the project in terms of what do we need to deliver and the timeline and the precision that you gave us in terms of planning something 9 months in advance, which also the detail of, I'm going to share that with the audience, the BOQ of how you look at every product, even if it's a center table or whether it's a sofa, and the cushion that's going to go on top of the sofa, the side table, not just the side table, the showpiece which is going to go onto the side table. This all was decided when we had our meeting and we were going to be delivering the product 9 or 10 months later. And the detail with which you gave us the BOQ, what plies to be used, what color, the shade, the finish, the metal color code. So we are just one part of the entire process. Can you just kind of run us through, when you're doing such massive projects, how does it start, process, which kind of helps the audience also to know that in future when you want to get a project done, wherein you're not compromising on the design element, you're not compromising on your fit and finish, and you're not compromising on the total quality and output of the product. What are the things that you see to it that are streamlined, and how this you've been able to achieve over the years, I'm sure, It's not something that you've kind of gotten overnight.
Yeah.
What is the process to help you deliver such massive projects at that in that time frame?
Two parts of it. One is the experience of what not to do. When I started in 1999, we used to go to site and we used to sketch a molding, and then we used to go again after 3 days. And then we used to be, I remember in 2000, 2001, I used to be posted on site for 2 months in Chennai, 3 months in Bangalore. And a designer needs to be on site to keep giving decisions. 2002, I had a small stint in London, and we completed a restaurant and 2 bungalows there. Then I came back, and then we were doing some projects in Dubai. By that time, I got fascinated by how international designers work. In India, there was nowhere close to that process was done. But they used to have smaller practices, but they used to organize themselves so efficiently that they could work globally. Post that, we started learning from them that how they work. The studios are purely designers, travels are lesser, so that you know your core competence clearly. I think what happens is, as a design firm, people lose the sense of what they are good at. They try to do everything, either for earning better fee or taking up more work. So they commit to design to execution. मैं budget में करा के दूंगा, मैं आपको time पे करा के दूंगा. We don't promise any of that. I think it's a byproduct of the process of what we drive. We don't promise a client that 15 महीने में मैं करा के दूंगा. I have never promised that. I have only told him that I will give you enough clarity of design much more in advance with the process that you will be able to negotiate for 3 months if you need for every material. Still order 3 months in advance of whatever you need in site. And so you will be aligned. So that the clarity. So post the process of aligning ourselves, we will not discuss designs again. You can come back to us and say this is not available or this is expensive, and absolutely will support you and do that. Now to do that, there are 4 stages with us. One is we do layouts in pre-concept. Layout in pre-concept is schematic layouts and 3 narratives as we spoke earlier. The clients have every right to say, I don't like all 3. And we have to go with another 3. Till the time they not only like, but they love the narrative. So you have to really live with the narrative for that project timeline and then beyond. Because for homes, it is so personal that I just can't go and make your home the way I want to. It's a very collaborative exercise. Post that, there are 3D perspective, which is largely an extension of what pre-concepts are. They're not copy of the pre-concept, but the ambience and the look and feel and the color palette, if it's eclectic or it's minimal or it's classy, it's art deco, the theme gets decided. At that stage, we are very clear that every cushion, every rug, every center table piece, what we are going to show in the 3D, it is going to be that way only. Even the plant, the planter, the way the lights are, the way the light is going to fall on the wall, the texture, it has to be same. There are times when we are working with some clients for the first time doing their homes and they say कि ठीक है तो बाद में देख लेंगे. While they are going to the 3D, कि 3D अच्छा लगा, but रख तो ठीक है बाद में देखते रहेंगे. And then I think that is where we stop them and we tell them, ये अभी देखेंगे. This is where we are looking at right now. आपने ये पास किया तो इसका आर्टवर्क बनेगा, then रग के कोट आएंगे आपके पास, and then rugs will start getting manufactured. If you don't like anything of it, including the tassel on the curtain, you please tell us right now. That includes a knob on a drawer, that includes a handle on a door. Everything is in the 3D. Now that allows the client to then probably come back to us and say, okay, give us 3-4 days. We'll discuss now internally and we'll come back to you. And many times they come back to us with suggestions. We modify them, change them, resubmit the 3D perspectives. Once they are frozen and they're signed off, they also understand how serious it is to commit to that. It is like, telling your girlfriend, let's get married. And then you take time. And when the day comes, कि यार अब शादी करनी है क्या, then you get a little serious about it कि अब तो शादी हो रही है. So I think that is the stage of 3D where you are getting married to the design. And then when the client realizes, ab change nahi hoga. So now they take it more seriously. Once that is done, then we do the FF&E package. This is something where while doing hospitality projects has helped us. Residentials, I don't know many firms who does FF&E package for residential projects in India. These are probably 500 paid binders, which includes every spec of furniture, lighting, carpet, rugs, accessories, planters, everything. This is given on day one when the quotes. Then those FF&E are divided to give it to the various collaborators. If you're working on furniture, then it will go to furniture collaborators, it will go to art collaborators, artists, arts, painting, they are part of our 3D perspective. They need to comment on that. We do phase one, at least phase one art, where the walls don't look empty when the clients are moving in, during that process only. And then once the FF&E package is completed, we're done. We work with some extremely good MEP consultants. They provide all the HVAC details, MEP details, post-art drawings, become the part of our GFC package. And once the GFC package is issued, then the site starts. We not only discourage...
Sorry, just for the convenience of the audience, GFC, if you could just explain.
It's the good for construction package. And while this has been taken for granted for years, कि good for construction, तो उसका R1, R2, R3 बनते रहेगा. Good for construction has to be it is committed कि यही बनेगा. And we don't do any changes over there. No revisions there. When we do good for construction drawings, they are issued at site. And only then the site starts. Now, good for construction drawings are issued, including the wall coverings, including everything what has to be there. We take a very clear stand that till the time all area good for construction drawings are not completed, we will not allow the site work to start. Because every single thing has a connection to your civil work also. And that kind of loops, and एक बार वो loop में चले गया, then I think nobody has any control. So that 3 months is a lot of patience. But once it is given, they realize that everybody in the team, whether it's a site contractor, whether there are different collaborators, they all know on day one what goes where. And they are only working on executing that. And I think that is why we don't participate. The process then helps them to complete it faster.
This is also one of the reasons why I wanted to have you guys on the podcast, because I wanted to understand how this has been done, because we've been working with a lot of interior designers. Hardly ever we've seen this kind of detailing that I spoke of, and at the same time commitment towards timelines. October में ये जाएगा, November में ये जाएगा, December में ये जाएगा, 15th January को handover होगा. I mean that's really commendable.
We realize that we are rejecting about 15 to 20 projects a week.
15 to 20 projects a week?
It was an eye-opener for me. There are some which I am rejecting. There are some which comes to the core team and they've said no. So I think we are never able to say no. Our priorities are very clear. We are still very cocooned. So we love to work with people we know. If you take up 80% of our clients today, we have known them or their friends for the last 2 decades. So it's a very cocoon environment. And that's why we keep saying we are just spoiled. And we are not able to take something which is... So there has to be mutual trust, number one. If somebody's shopping, then we are not for them. If somebody likes the way we work, it's amazing. So we'll genuinely show them. We request them sometimes to wait for a couple of months, and we have got clients who have waited. It's not because we cannot accommodate something, but I think it's also because we will not be able to do justice to it correctly. So I think we've done that. The 3-4 months where apartments have waited for 3-4 months before we started designing. We have been advised to grow, but we don't want to beyond a certain number, because we feel that this is a practice where we are able to focus the way we are able to do design, and we are not a production-based firm, so we don't want to become 100, 200 ever. 70-80% of the time, we very nicely recommend other architects and designers in the industry who do equally good work.
70-80%
of the time. We who do equally good work. I think it's not about, we're not insecure or we feel that our client chale jayega. Even to known clients, we've recommended people. Because we are not able to accommodate them, and then we'll give them 4-5 names, we'll introduce them, we'll have a call arranged with them, we'll attend a con call if required. Because we genuinely wish both our clients and the architects good only. I mean, if they're able to do something nice, why not?
So who are your top 5 names that you would generally end up recommending?
We recommended a few architects who does amazing hospitals around the country. They were appointed. The clients came back to us and said, "Ye hospital lag raha hai." So now we're doing that project. But there are very, very respectable names in the industry for every sector who are able to do amazing hotels, amazing residences. And I think we all look forward to it.
Now you're doing projects not just in India but also abroad.
Yeah.
Now, what is the process for managing a project abroad? I'm sure a lot of it would be word of mouth, which you got a reference, and they ended up giving the project. How do you manage projects internationally?
So long time back, a very senior architect who does global work based in Malaysia told me that if you think that you can handle a job locally the way you are thinking what you will do abroad, that day you will establish and can go global. It's a very wise suggestion for us. So what we are doing on a site in Bombay or in Hyderabad or Bangalore or Pauna or Guwahati, if our approach is the same, that I'm not going to go there every day, I'm not required to be there every day. The clients are saying, "Kyun aa rahe? Nobody calls us." We're doing a Vivanta in Kochi, and I remember we had 3 visits for a 200 key property. It is ditto as per the 3D perspective, same to same. We had 1 mock-up visit, we had 1 visit in between, and we had 1 setup visit which was pushed by us, that we want to come. Nobody was calling us. So 3 visits. That allowed us to imagine that if it is Kochi or if it is Guwahati or if it is Pauna, then the same is applicable for Bhutan, Maldives, US, anywhere. I used to go to US once in 3 months for 4 days. And 4 days is including my travel time. So I used to go, I am not very fond of US. So I used to go there, see the work, finish the meeting, come back. And I think that's all what we are required to be, because they have enough information. So I think as far as the process is correct, and you are not required to be there, you can work anywhere globally, because then it's not about being approachable or being there. That notion of that I need an architect who's local because he will be able to travel to site and give decisions correctly. Kuch atak gaya to kaam bata dega. I think that notion completely goes away from the equation of what the project structure is going to be. And then the clients are very happy working anywhere. And that's how the recommendation started. That, the way they work, you won't even need them. So you can give them a project in Antarctica. And but don't worry about they not being there. No, they'll give you all the design. They'll come there, see the site. That's the most important part, because we want to see where we are doing, feel that, and I think post that it's the process which takes care of it.
So how do you process a project internationally?
So recently we completed a hotel in Bhutan where we had 1 visit.
Just 1 visit?
One visit was to see the project. So it was an existing hotel. We had to convert it into a Taj selection. I went there, spent 3 days, understood the owners, came back, we did a pre-concept, they loved it. We gave them the drawings, they executed it. We used to get pictures, we were happy, they were happy. They never called us back. They paid us well, they paid us on time, and I told them, should we come? Like, why? Like, if you want to come, please come. But we don't need you. Because everything they have, like an ashtray on a table is there in the FF&E package. And in fact, in Bhutan, a lot of things went from India. Carpets, planters went from India. Tissue paper boxes went from India. But everything was the FF&E. So we were on the mail that something is getting ordered to the people whom we have recommended. So we knew everything is happening. And not that we are not aware about the project, what's happening. But then nobody calls us.
So you're designing Shilpa Shetty Kundra's holiday home. Can you tell us something about that project?
I was very pleasantly surprised the way they are, it's like any other owner, like simple dreams, normal family, amazing people, super down to earth, Maybe that's also comes from their South Indian upbringing. South Indian wearing a Punjabi, but again, Raj is extremely, his sense of humor is out of the world. In the worst, on the worst days also, he'll be like cracking amazing jokes. Beyond that celebrity facade, there's somebody who has dreams to build a nice weekend home where they can unwind. So for us also, it was very important, almost from the first meeting, to understand the real them and not create a celebrity weekend home. Because if it would have been that, they would have been trapped in a different life cycle. And I think we feel very responsible for those things, because also as designers, I think we create that emotional changes, their aspirations, they had something in their mind. And like every other homeowner, so homes are so close to anybody that probably before you do anything or buy a new house or build a new bungalow or a villa or farmhouse, probably 5, 6, 8 years you would have thought about it. कि अब मेरा घर बनेगा तो ऐसा बनेगा. And we need to respect that. So that started as like any other weekend home. Now we are getting used to that. Any other weekend home which is starting as a requirement of 6,000 square feet. हमको छोटा सा घर चाहिए. छोटा सा 5-6,000 square feet का घर चाहिए. And certainly they live a 20,000 square feet house in Juhu.
Correct.
So they said farm तो हमारा 5,000 square feet का होगा, छोटा सा होगा, cute होगा. Now it is a 29,000 square feet weekend home. And now we're used to that, because every weekend when we start, the owners come to us कि हमको 4,000 square feet का घर चाहिए. Now we tell them ये बन जाएगा 25,000 square feet का, आप requirement देते जाओ. So before we plan, now we make an area statement first. कि ये bedroom का size, bathroom का size, इतने bedrooms ये है. Then they said अरे इसमें gym तो चाहिए, फिर इसमें home theater भी चाहिए, इसमें कबाना भी चाहिए, फिर 2 और गेस्ट आ गए तो कहाँ रुकेंगे, तो 2 गेस्ट बेडरूम में चाहिए, फिर बेडरूम में फार्म पे तो बड़े चाहिए, तो बड़ा फार्म, बड़ा बाथरूम, बड़ा वॉक इन वार्डरोब, spaces are bigger. So before plan, now we go with the Excel sheet format, and we know that area statements are going to be aligned. So work is much more efficient now. I think we went through about 4 or 5 different phases of layout, and then we had to turn the entire layout around, because one of the most important thing doing weekend homes, whether for Shilpa or anybody else, is we believe that weekend homes are generally for friends and family, and when, let's say, 3 generations are going together, they will be involved in different activities in a weekend home. And if we are able to visually and sound-wise connect the 3 generations, they will feel that they are together at the weekend home by doing their own activities. But if they are isolated doing their own activities, even in the weekend home, then after a while they will feel वहाँ जाके भी मतलब क्या है, आप तो bedroom बैठ के TV देखने वाले. And that's why we say we are very responsible to design homes. It's not about care आपने कौन से कलर का पत्थर लगाया. I think it's a byproduct. It is very subjective. And that's why answering your earlier question also, over the top or other designs, even I may not agree with my core team, or they will not agree with me sometimes. They will feel I'm doing something which is not very good. But that is design. But things like this, which is space planning, how do you create emotions in out of a purpose of why we are making something, is very important. So every weekend home where we do these visual sound connections are very, very important for us. So let's say kids are playing in the pool, the owners are in the deck area, the grandparents are in the dining area or chilling around. Can they all see each other and talk to each other? Great. I think that's the first success. So this is a 3-story weekend home. The middle floor or the entry floor is your double height living, dining, and 3 guest bedrooms, where also one of the bedroom is dedicated to Shilpa's mom, one bedroom is dedicated to Raj's parents, and 1 guest bedroom has been kept. Then when you go on the lower floor, there are 2 kids bedrooms, son and daughter, and a master suite. They're all connected with a very large deck, so they all can come out and they can see each other good morning. And we kind of experience those kind of things. And there's a family room there where everybody can also come down and sit. And there's a large, I think 10,000 square feet deck, which is beyond that 29,000 square feet, which is overlooking the Pauna Lake. And then when you go lower to that floor, you have your spa, gym, and the pool, where from every deck you are layered so you can see the pool. So I can still stand on any deck. And we keep saying this in the office. I don't know, maybe because they're foodie, we say, कोई भी घर में आदमी बोलना चाहिए कि खाना गर्म हो गया, नीचे आ जाओ. और अगर मैंने वो बोल दिया, सबको सुनना चाहिए. Correct?
Correct.
And I think if we achieve that, then we build a home.
Nice.
So every bungalow, whether it's Guwahati or any weekend home, I think that's very important. कि खाना गर्म हो गया अगर किसी ने बोला, आप आ जाओ नीचे, तो सब जगह आवाज आनी चाहिए और एक दूसरे से आप बात कर सको वहां पे. So I think that is one of the things which we take care in planning, and that's what we've done for her. And I think she loved about that because she also was worried that she will be looked as a celebrity, and then the farmhouse will be designed based on that status, right? But we need to understand the person you are. But there are many clients whom we ask, आप शाम को दारू पीते हो? तो बोलेगा नहीं नहीं मैं दारू. But हमको पता है वो बाहर है अंदर, उसको बेडरूम में दारू पीना है. Correct. Because for them to discuss this with a designer who's not known to them or who's not a friend, is very difficult.
Comfort that.
But then we don't understand the process of life, what you're living every day. So how can we design it for you?
Correct.
So I think once we are able to do all that and understand, and I think with Raj and Shilpa, both were extremely open about what they want, why they want. They want their kids to grow up in the farm. They wanted them to go outdoors. They wanted to do activities with them. They want to spend genuine time with them. It was not about just creating one weekend home के हम friends को लेके जाके party करेंगे. It is not that weekend home. It is a weekend home where they want to really. Shilpa only cribs about कि अब भी घर छोटा पड़ रहा है और 2 bedroom दे दे मेरे को. But वो राज is like अब बहुत हो गया है. इससे बड़ा घर हमारा maintain नहीं होगा. But yeah, this is.
Super. Now looking at the render of their bedroom, how would you describe that decor style?
She still hates it. She feels that we have given her the worst bedroom in the house. So much later, when all the bedrooms are designed and finalized and closed and execution started, and she said, यार तुम लोग ने सबको 4 poster bed दिया और मुझे जमीन पे सुला दिया. And I also want a 4 poster bed. And by the time we said कि ये design में नहीं जाएगा, तो either we change the entire design. And she's like, no, I love everything. But can I still get a 4 poster bed somehow? So it's like, no. So now she decided that some nights she will sleep in the guest room. And Raj is very happy about that. And Raj keeps cracking up that, yaar, hum bahut badhiya, best hai, I'll enjoy the master bedroom. But I think master bedroom was one, it was very tone on tone. So it was meant to be calming. It has got almost a 270-degree view of Pauna Lake with very large windows. There is a deck outside where there is an outdoor jacuzzi. And the large deck also, because they are into fitness, we wanted them to use that deck for their morning yogas. So it's very helpful. Then we've got a large bathroom and a walk-in wardrobe for them.
If you had to describe the vibe of Shilpa Shetty's holiday home in one sentence, what would that be?
Quaint. And that's what she named it, Sukun.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the name of the bungalow was kept about a couple of months back. So it's called Sukun.
Beautiful. Now, Casa Walls has had a chance to work with you in the past from your experience. What do you think sets them apart?
That extra half inch of furniture knowledge. And I keep telling this to not only my colleagues, but everybody I meet in the industry. I think what I learned from you guys is that either sometimes you sit on a chair and you feel just perfect. And there are furniture pieces you sit and you don't feel comfortable at all. They're good looking. They're amazingly, fantastically designed. But they're just not comfortable. And then the learning was that every piece of furniture can be created for a different experience. I would have a formal room furniture. I will have a foyer furniture. I will have a family room furniture. They all can't be same. They all will have that extra depth. Some furniture I will have, even if I come to your house, I'm not your friend. But if you make me sit in your family room, probably after 15 minutes, you will have my at least 1 foot up on the sofa, because the depth allows me to get very comfortable and relaxed there. And it will change my posture. It will change my body language. It will change the way and I think that happens with every space when you enter, like a fine dine restaurant, formal spaces, informal spaces. But how to achieve that was a learning. So I think for years now, I've been a huge fan of that kind of detailing and knowledge. That which as designers, I think now whatever I learned from Casa Walls, I tell other furniture vendors. And I keep passing on, because that is such a neglected thing, People don't care about that extra half inch. And you all taught us to hold a tape here for that extra under. So I sit here, then what do I need to do? That extra piece of foam, putting here during mock-ups. And that level of understanding of furniture is fantastic. I think that's the most important thing I feel I keep coming back to Casa Walls.
Super. Now, you've had the chance to look at the store. If there's one panel that really caught your attention and something Then
the leather horse, which I want to make it into an elephant and put it in my house.
Yes.
I didn't knew this question, but I was ready for the answer.
It was the most beautiful piece, I think.
Manish Bhai and Payal still need to take out time to get that elephant done. But yes, absolutely. We were amazed and we loved it. And every client who comes there loves it.
Yeah.
And the kind of work and the detailing, it is fantastic.
Super. Now, where do you see Indian interior design heading the next few years?
India has so many stories to tell, the world even doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is why, again, about storytelling, it's such an important thing with India because we've got stories in every corner of India. How many stories any other country can tell you? But we have so many stories which inspires amazing design every single day, which we have taken for granted for years. But I think now it's our time to take them to the world. And the world is looking forward to it. So yes, I think there's nothing less than global.
Yeah. So what's the one thing young designers should stop doing right now?
Any benchmarks in the industry. They should just keep doing what they feel is correct.
Just
Because they're such amazingly talented, and I think many people, many offices don't like this so-called Gen Z and other people. They feel yaar koi serious nahi hai, kaam nahi kar raha hai. But in their own casual way, I think they're fantastic. We've got probably one of the most youngest office, and we feel everybody participates in such a different way. Maybe their way of working is very different. But I think they are fantastic. They have so many tools available to them currently. They are so aware about everything. Many times much more than I would be. Getting that information in the shortest time possible for them is so convenient how they do it. I think they are fantastic. I look up to them. And I genuinely, I want more younger people in the team because I want to keep learning and growing. I keep giving this example in the office that वो गिली मट्टी होती है फिर वो कड़क होते जाती है ना ड्राई होके so I think I don't want to become that dry because it will break, so we need to mix that गिली मट्टी again and again and again to keep ourselves as much moldable as possible in the new forms. So these guys are doing amazing. They should just not listen to us.
And they look so effortlessly working.
Yeah.
You tell them to do something and like you turn around in like 10 minutes and you are like नहीं हुआ है. We said done. Reply भी आ गया. आपको मैं ही कर दिया. And I'm like what? When is all this happening? You would just right to
everything happening from that one device. Like I'm used to like मैं phone उठाऊंगा बात करूंगा किसी से. If I'm telling a colleague यार बात कर लेना उससे and then after 10 minutes I'll say अरे यार मैंने बोला बात कर लो ना. हो गया. तो यार उनके लिए बात करना होता ही नहीं है. वो लैपटॉप से WhatsApp कर दिया या कोई मैसेज कर दिया. Confirmation आ गया हो गया खत्म हो गया.
In fact, we've also made a policy whenever in the organization we've got a new intern. A lot of these colleges they send people to work here for their internship period and stuff like that. We get so excited because now we're going to have fresh perspective.
Yes.
You know, even when you think about wall panels. Okay, when I started, I was using fabric. Fabric use karte there's this one kid. He says, "Sir, सिर्फ fabric ही क्यों?" And for 4 minutes, I was wondering how to answer that question. And then I'm like, Acha, what do you mean? I had to break it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have never thought like this. And thank you for asking me this question. And then we incorporate wood, semi-precious stone, metal, and it still goes endless. Now we have had a designer. She said, "Sir, I'm fascinated with mirror." No. We want to do wall panels. Well, yeah, but we can work with mirror. And she came up with this concept.
Oh, lovely.
Like, sir, I know what you do, but I want to work with mirror. So this is what I have in mind. Then she came up with this concept.
This is amazing.
And I'm like, okay, fine. So we need you. She will work in small bursts. She'll go attend college.
Yeah.
She's doing a Bharatanatyam and stuff. She's like, sir, whenever I have time for a couple of months, I just want to unwind, and this is my way of unwinding, designing.
Lovely.
I'm like, you are gold dust.
Yes.
We want you part of the organization. And she's like, sir, I cannot work 9 to 5. I want to be working at 9 or 10 p.m. with my music when nobody's around.
Right.
And I completely respect that. Now imagine me telling my father this 20 years ago that I'm going to
Oh my
come to
God.
office. I'll work after 10 p.m.
धंधा बंद कर दे.
One whack I'll get. But yeah, that's really phenomenal. With the current generation, what they are able to pull off is crazy. So yeah, what are the three words that you were talking about as far as the current generation?
The current generation, yeah. Very, first is shocking. They're very shocking the way they react. They want to do very inspiring. What they can think beyond for something, even life. And they're dreamers the way you just told, like, no, they just...
They're inspiring and shocking for the same reason.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, you know, they just, you just can't understand them when you're talking to them. You are thinking so much into a possibility or whether that can be done into your life. Whether you can bring that thing, like, you know, working 1 day a week. I can't think of it. And they are like, 1 day a week. You know, it is that. And I'm like, ho jayega. Ho jayega. I'm like, cool.
So yeah, rapid fire questions, okay? One material you guys can't get enough of right now.
Natural stones. Natural Indian stones.
Yeah.
Fastest project you've ever finished.
A booth at IDEC.
It was the most fastest.
No, because we are not booth designers, right? So we don't imagine those kind of projects.
Correct.
And when we realize our 3 months of story and design gets executed in 1.5 days, it's magic for us. And we suddenly go to site and like 3 minutes से क्या कर रहे हो?
वहाँ पे बन के टूटने नहीं आया वो पूरी चीज.
A design trend you think needs to go.
Design trend.
Trends.
I think it's so overrated, you know.
Yeah.
People just start following something and
Yeah.
they lose their own version of creativeness or looking into why they are doing it. They're just doing it because it's a trend. They're not doing it because it fits their project or what they want to do. I think design trends are such a...
Yeah, and also it's a lot of influence of the West.
Yeah.
Putting onto something which they want you to ultimately...
And if it fits, then it's fine. But I think you should not use it because it's a trend.
Yeah, it's too much of pressure actually.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Indian marble?
Depends on the project. But in terms of Indian stone, I think I would still prefer something like a Kota or a Bhura. Because of the modulation, the color palette, and the textures which you are able to do. But then we again use Kadapa, which looks like better than a river wash black granite.
What's your go-to color palette?
I love bright colors. So while we do, while the space can speak about tone and tone or something, but I think there's a little color pop which is, which I feel adds that cheer to the place. So
Nice. So now I know that you don't like US. But one city that you'd love to design in, and you haven't designed in that city so far. So you're wherein you want to bring out the culture and
Tokyo.
Nice. And for you?
London.
Yeah, that's my game.
I think that's why I love this profession. You learn so much. You go to different cities, design different projects, and it's like every time you start, everybody on the table is from zero, no? So you are like learning again.
Amazing. Now, this is for the young designers listening. What's the one piece of advice you'd like to give them?
Just break the mold. Be consistent in breaking the mold, but don't be consistent in doing consistent things.
Amazing. Amazing answer. So, now you spent some time at Casa Walls today. How do you see brands like Casa Walls fitting into the future of luxury design?
I think so. Luxury means design, finish, and comfort. People who have experienced luxury for years or for generation will always put comfort before design and everything else. And I think that is where I see Casa Walls. And like I mentioned before, I think the level of detailing you guys do. So you are just the right fit for people who understand luxury, not because it's fancy looking, but because it is really comfortable for the place or the setup or there.
Finally, what's next for Design Circus?
Oh, so I was supposed to resign from Design Circus a year back
Yes.
because I was bored. And
Really?
yeah, there was consistent work. I was participating in workshops in the office, but there was nothing exciting happening for me personally. So then we had to kind of rethink, and now we have got a 2030 goal where we want to do project in at least 18 countries. We have already done in 5. We want to complete 18 countries by 2030. So we want to tell new stories. We want to learn something new every day. We want to be challenged. We want to explore something new. We can't work in the same city again and again and again. It's such a means कितना गन्ने को निचोड़ोगे and वो story सुन ली ना आपको पता है कि चेन्नई में ये होता है पौंडीचेरी में ये होता है. This is done with for us now. Now there's so much to tell in the world. So we want to learn new things.
So one is Japan. Other would be
Japan, Vietnam, Philippines. I think that a lot of Asian countries have lot of culture. So there's so much amazing stories to tell. And there's a point where we wanted to work in a street in Nice on the French Riviera side. So, it's not like scale-wise anything, but it's just something which we would love to participate in that city and the story and the vibe of the people, understand how things work. There are like cafes in Seoul where we have gone, where this is like some 150-year-old restaurant where still now, even if you order, they write with a chalk on the table. You order 2 wines and they'll write with a chalk this much euro, then this, and then once you're done, then they'll
just wipe it off.
Pay. That's it.
There is no
house wine. You're not allowed to smoke inside because the entire roof has become black. They never renovated.
Because of the smoke. So
but it is one of the best salmon places in Madrid.
Beautiful and very well. When you go there,
every time we travel, we just want to transit by Madrid because we want to eat salmon.
You want to eat salmon there.
Sure.
Yep.
Really?
Wow.
So I think we as designers sometimes don't think that experience part. We think design. But I think these are experiences which we need to create as designers. So I think, that is.
So thank you so much for sharing all your stories. It's been amazing. And I hope you had a good time having this conversation. And I hope that this podcast does really well. But amazing, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It feels as if I know you guys since eternity, the conversations that we've had.
Keep catching up.